To the show. Today is July 8th, 2022. Let me start by saying that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video came about because I was having a discussion with Metasport Channel, and it was an interesting discussion, and we were talking about some things that I think would be good if we shared with everybody else. So big thanks to Metasport Channel for the discussion. We were talking about dates and the dividend and GME, of course. And basically, there was this calendar, which should be familiar to everyone. This was from my last video, by the way. It talks about the 4-to-1 stock split, what the date of record is and all that. So the date of record is the important date. That's the date that you must own the shares of stock in order to receive the dividend distribution, right? And the dividend is going to be 3 additional shares of GameStop for every share that you hold on the date of record. That means that at the close of day, after the markets closed on the 21st, you will get 3 additional shares for every share that you held, for every share that you owned on July 18th. On July 21, after the close of day, that's when the shares will be distributed to all the shareholders, right? And on July 22nd, that's the first day of split adjusted trading, right? At that point, the shares will have been distributed to everyone, and we will have split adjusted trading at that point. Okay. So it's interesting. If you look at the date of the distribution, it's about 3 days after the date of record. And one of the things that caught my eye is, that's very similar to what's called T+3. T+3 means it takes 3 days after the trade for the trade to clear, right? A lot of people don't necessarily know that, and that's one of the things that Metasport Channel talks to me about and whatnot. When you do your trade, you have the cash in your account, and then you place a buy order, and suddenly you see, you have additional shares of stock in your account. But did you know that it's not considered settled at that point in time? It's just, it's a note in your account, and the funds have been dispersed. You've paid for it, right? The cash has gone from your account, and it's, it's gone to pay for whoever needs to be paid to, in order for you to get that stock. But it's actually still considered unsettled funds for about 3 days. The securities aren't necessarily settled until about 3 days. That's why you might have a particular highlight on that line item for your security. And so it's not quite settled yet, right? Things can still go wrong at that point in time. But considering all the volatility that's going to be happening and the shorts and the dividend and all that's happening, you may want to avoid having a conversation with your broker about whether your funds are settled and you deserve the dividend or not. In general, I think that it'd be good to make sure all your funds are settled way before the date of record, and then you don't have to you'll be guaranteed to get your funds in at that point, right? So that's basically what I was telling Metasport Channel, that although you have the date of record that you have to own the stock by, if you plan to buy more stock, you really have to buy it before that. You really have to buy it at T+3 or 3 days before, or T-3 actually, I guess, right? And because you want the funds settled, right? So that means you have to take T+3 into account. And so you basically only have really till Monday and Tuesday right now to buy the stock, right? Because if you buy it on Monday, it takes T+3 to settle, and that's Thursday, right? So if you buy it on Tuesday, T+3 is a Friday, and at that point, the date of record is the following Monday. So, at that point, you should be good to go. At least that's when I would be buying. Is what I mentioned to Metasport Channel, right? I actually wound up buying some today because I wanted to make sure that I actually I wanted to make sure that my shares were settled. I didn't want to think about settlement times and all this and brokers and all whatnot. Anyway, so those are the only 2 days that I think really exist. If you want to take your chances, I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it might work, it might not. I don't know. They could be considered gray days as far as I'm concerned. But Monday and Tuesday is definitely not a gray day. If you buy then, it'll definitely settle by Thursday and Friday. So that's not a problem. The other interesting thing is that if you buy after the date of record, you won't be getting the additional shares. So I don't really see much point in buying at that point in time. You might as well buy after the date of distribution, to be honest, because at that point in time you'll be buying stock, but everyone else will have gotten 3 additional shares. So it's better to buy it just a day early. I mean, it's better to buy it earlier so that you don't have these problems about whether or not you're going to get 3 additional shares or not, right? I mean, that's a big deal. So I'm expecting actually zero buying around the 19th to the 21st, because I expect anyone who wants to buy shares will have bought them beforehand. They will have done their homework, hopefully at least. So I expect zero buying the 19th to the 21st. So, for a price to be stable, you need buying and selling. And if there's zero buying, that means you can be selling to a buddy of yours or something like that, and you can manipulate and collapse the price if you wanted to. So the price might collapse completely on those particular days, for all you know. It's that would be, I think it would be an ideal time for naked short attacks. You could drive the price down easily with zero buying pressure, zero real buying pressure, right? I mean, the only people buying would be, your buddies who, probably don't care and would toss the stock back to you at a lower price, and you toss it back to them at an even lower price. Who knows? So I think the price could fall by, it could fall 75% or more at that point, And if it falls more than 75%, it could be a bargain, right? Because, you're expecting 3 more shares by the Thursday. So if it drops to below that, it could be less than the cost of an additional share after the split, right? Well, let's just say. So, because on the 22nd, you'll have 4x the number of shares you had on the 18th. So, yeah, could be interesting. Don't know what's going to happen. But I am expecting volatility, and I am expecting shenanigans to go on. So what about these days, right? I mean, this is the 1 week you have before the date of record, and if I were a short, I would think this would be the ideal time to try to close out my position in terms of trying to buy shares. We know people may not be selling their shares; they might actually be buying shares as well too. So so if I were a short, I might want to induce some volatility at this point in time. Sell some naked shares short, because not necessarily everyone knows about the clearing. Not necessarily everyone knows about the split via dividend or the short interest that's in GameStop. And you might be able to get a few shares from people who aren't aware, and they just panic sell. So shorts might start doing their shenanigans next week. I expect they will. Who knows? Hard to say. But also the gray days, in terms of clearing to be in time for the date of record, that might be a great time for a short attack as well too. Again, most people will have bought, I think, between on the 11th and 12th. But if they plan to buy, but it's hard to say, right? I mean, if you're a short, you want to attack on those days that people aren't sure of things. So in general, I expect a lot of volatility in the coming weeks of GameStop, right? And that's to be expected, right? Volatility is for extreme swings in price, and the only way to get to higher prices is with volatility, right? Volatility is required. Again, if you haven't bought and you plan to buy, I personally think the best times to buy might be the 11th and the 12th, before, to make sure everything settles before the date of record. After that, things might be gray. Who's to say? Hard to say. But, let's face facts. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. And big shout out and thanks to Metasport Channel. Check out his Twitter. Check out his Twitter page. Subscribe to him. He's a great guy. Anyway, talk to you later.